Dear children, for the continuation of this experiment, sunlight is necessary to form starch or not. We kept the plant in sunlight by covering some portion with black paper not to allow sunlight. Now we have to know if starch is present or not. Add iodine onto the complete plant. Iodine is used to test the presence of starch. Now which portion will turn into bluish black? So if starch is present, the iodine will turn it into which color? Bluish black color, as you know well. So here you can bluish black color. We can construct some bits. What is the reagent for starch? Iodine. What is the result of starch iodine test? Bluish black color. Now when you add this iodine on this leaf, which portion will turns into bluish black? The portion which is outside exposed to sunlight. This also turns into bluish black, and the mid portion where sunlight is available, this also turns into bluish black. The remaining part which is not exposed remain in the same color without turning into bluish black. So these are all giving positive result with iodine, turning bluish black because they are exposed to sunlight. Now they gave a negative result with iodine starch, that is starch is absent. Why it is not turned into bluish black covered portion? No starch is present. Why no starch is present? No sunlight is available, no photosynthesis, no sunlight is available. So this experiment is proved here that sunlight is necessary to form starch in leaf or in a plant to perform photosynthesis. So these are the 4 different experiments, dear children. So first thing we have seen the presence of starch in leaf experiment, and then we have seen the carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis called moles of leaf experiment, and then we came to hydral experiment that oxygen is released in a plant when it is kept only in the sunlight, and the 4th experiment is plants can prepare starch only in the presence of sunlight, or sunlight is necessary to form starch. I will once again tell those 4 experiments in a detailed way, comparative points regarding the 4 experiments. We will move on to the next things about the relation between light and photosynthesis. So present factor for the photosynthesis is light, its importance. In hydral experiment we came to know only in the presence of light oxygen is released. In black paper experiment we came to know only in the presence of sunlight starch is formed in photosynthesis. So light got its importance. So who proved the importance of light in releasing oxygen? The scientist is called Jan Ingenhousz. Ingenhousz in the year 1779. Later further observations. What is sunlight, dear children? Let us talk about, after leaving this, let us talk about sunlight. Sunlight is energy source coming from sun. It contains number of rays called solar radiation. It contains invisible harmful rays and a visible light also. So for example, solar radiation or sunlight releases so many kinds of rays called cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, visible light, visible rays, infrared rays, and radio waves. So this information is not in the textbook, just for your knowledge sake, further studies I am telling to you. So solar radiation means the radiation means the forms of different rays coming out as is called as a radiation. So different type of rays are coming out of sunlight: cosmic, gamma, X, UV, visible, IR, and radio waves. So 7 kinds of rays are coming out. Out of these 7 kinds, all rays are not visible, used for visible nature of objects. Only kind of rays which made us to visible anything is called visible rays. Remaining all are invisible and harmful. Cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, IR rays, radio waves. Some are with high energy, some are with high wavelengths. These are all the additional informations. So which light is useful for us without causing harm and using for photosynthesis? The visible rays. And visible rays, if you talk about visible rays, If we talk about one of the important rays which are useful for the vision of us and for photosynthesis, visible rays. If you talk about this visible rays, again the visible rays are divided into spectrum of 7 colors, you know well. For example, if you keep a glass scale in sunlight, it will divide the light into 7 colors, as you know, we call generally as a rainbow colors. In science they are called as spectrum of colors, ranging from violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Vibgyor they are called as. They are pronounced as Vibgyor colors. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange. It starts from violet shade, slowly turns into red. So that's why before violet rays, which rays are there? Ultraviolet rays are there, harmful rays, invisible rays. After red rays, what are there? Infrared rays are there. Those are also invisible rays, but with less energy. Understand? Wavelength is more and energy is less. So here violet to red, different spectrum of colors are there. You can experience while in the rainbow formation or using a glass, using a prism. You think you know prism, a triangular glass object called prisms are there. We use the prisms to divide the colors. Like that, a scientist called Engleman divided the spectrum of colors in visible light and came to know which colored light plays a maximum role in the photosynthesis. So the visible light has a spectrum of 7 colors divided by Engleman, a scientist called Engleman, to know the importance of which color among these. What John Ingenous proved, light is important to release oxygen. Light is important to prepare starch. But within the light there are so many colors which is playing a major role, observed by Engleman. So he divided the spectrum of colors and allowed some algae. Algae are the microscopic organisms which will do photosynthesis in sunlight. Just like they are called as microscopic plants living in pond water. So algae are the small microscopic plants which are living in the pond water, and they can also perform. So he allowed algae to do photosynthesis in this different colored of light. So the algae name is Cladophora. This name is not given in our standard dear children, additional information. This is an algae called Cladophora is allowed into this spectrum of different colors. Algae will do photosynthesis and release oxygen. So the algae done photosynthesis and they released oxygen. They are releasing oxygen in their process of photosynthesis. And he also allowed a bacteria called oxygen sensitive bacteria. Oxygen sensitive bacteria. What is this bacteria nature? The bacteria need oxygen to live. Those are called as oxygen sensitive bacteria. When he allowed algae to do photosynthesis in these 7 colors of light, and the algae are releasing oxygen. Just a moment. So he released an algae in these 7 colors to do photosynthesis, and they are releasing oxygen. And he also introduced a bacteria which need oxygen. So bacteria generally gather, where bacteria will gather? They are oxygen sensitive bacteria. They need oxygen to live. They move the place where more oxygen is available. Do you know children where these bacteria moved more? They moved more to red colored light area and blue colored light area. So more oxygen sensitive bacteria gathered at red and blue lights. Why they gathered at more at red and blue lights? They are oxygen sensitive bacteria. They need oxygen to live. They reach to more oxygen areas. Where the more oxygen is present? In blue and red colored lights. Why more oxygen is present? More algae are releasing oxygen in that area. Why more oxygen is released here? Because more photosynthesis is taken place. So finally, what Engleman given a statement? The maximum rate of photosynthesis takes place in red and blue colored lights. So this is a great information given by Engleman. So this is the complete information about light, its relation with photosynthesis, dear children. Light plays an important role. How? In the presence of light only oxygen is released, given by Jan Ingenos by doing hydral experiment. In the light only starch is prepared. So light is given importance, yes. But within the light so many rays are there, invisible rays. Visible rays is important for photosynthesis. Out of these visible rays, 7 colors are there, spectrum colors, Vibgyor colors. Out of these 7 colors, which color play a major role? So the Engleman, the great scientist, done this experiment by allowing algae to do photosynthesis in these 7 colors to release oxygen out. And he also allowed another organism to take oxygen called oxygen sensitive bacteria, generally called aerobic bacteria. Not given in our textbook that name. In our textbook it is used as oxygen sensitive bacteria. So these bacteria need oxygen. Where they will go? They go to area where more oxygen is present. Where the more oxygen, algae done more photosynthesis in this blue light and red light and released more oxygen. So more bacteria are gathered in these two lines, and he told the maximum point of photosynthesis takes place in red and blue colors. Please follow this notes, dear children, and read the textbook part. Thank you.